we just wanted to take a few minutes to go over some points in more detail. Two in particular, one, the bank financing environment, club deals versus underwritings, and the second point being the rise of direct lending funds and a bit of healthy competition between different debt financing products. So on the first point, club deals versus underwritings, how do you see this development in Germany from a banking perspective?
Yeah, basically, I think, as I said on the panel as well, so I think we have seen a development in the last 18 months away from underwritings towards straight club deals, or advisors or clients are asking you to pitch for underwriting, and then in the end they have a handful of, or even 6-7 banks, and then just putting them together in a club. Yeah. So it's a bit unfortunate. I mean, if I look back to where we started it from IKB's point of view, let's say in second half of 10 and first half of 11, where we had a string of mid-cap underwritten deals in a range of, let's say, 70 million of debt up to 200 million of debt, where we were the sole underwriter, got good fees, and we had willingness on good deals from banks to participate then in syndication. That was quite attractive for us. And however, I think as the debt has become more available, issuers or advisors have figured that, and they have basically, instead of speaking to 3 banks willing to take the underwrite, they're speaking to 6 or 7 or maybe 8, and then they basically pre-syndicating it. So they are educating everyone, and then trying to bring everyone over the deadline, and then just putting everyone together. Yeah. So and then do not have to worry about syndication, can avoid flags, which is making sometimes financing significantly more expensive, or maybe they can avoid structural tweaks, etc. So this is a bit of a development which for us as an arranging house is a bit unfortunate. However, we're also doing club deals, and if there are good club deals, then that's still a good opportunity for us to earn some money. Yeah.
So it sounds like the advisors are taking away some of your fees by pre-arranging syndication via club deals.
On one hand that's true. On the other hand, that it is what it is. Yeah. And I think we need to look for interesting situations. For example, last year the roughly 800 million financing for the public to private of Douglas. There was an angle. It's just too large for a club, and there is a good niche to earn fees. If it's not a straightforward sector, so if it's let's say the retail sector, or if it's structural difficulties like public to private, etc. PP. So then there is still a need for underwritten financing. Yeah. But in general, it is what it is, and we need to look for other situations where we can earn money, and therefore, there are lots of situations, and I think we're taking up the challenge. Yeah.
So these new situations you're trying to find, the quality of the asset certainly plays a role, and otherwise it's just moving to different industries that are more challenging or maybe less attractive to a fewer number of people.
For example, we just had a situation with a client where we were trying to look how we can best structure the liability side of the balance sheet. And we were speaking to bond investors, we were speaking to unitranche investors, private placement investors, we were speaking to banks, to have a complete picture of what's possible and what's not possible. Yeah. So we're trying to look for ways, for bank financing, for direct lending financing, but also bid for, what's possible on kind of capital markets products. Yeah. be it mid-cap bond space, like SAF Holland has done a bond, or other ways. It's just it's just what it is, and if you can find clever solutions, then the client will listen to you. Special topic here was the rise of the direct lenders. I think 1 year ago there has been basically no meaningful activity of direct lending funds. So some of the funds have been active for 3 years in Germany, but never really done a deal. Why is that? I guess they were just too expensive, and maybe partly also some regulatory issues. Direct loan financing or private bond financing, etc. These kind of regulatory issues. But this seems to be solved now, to my understanding, and in the last 12 months we have seen direct lending funds active in Germany, not as active as in the UK for sure, but certainly there have been deals, and this is a good sign, and it just gives us more optionality, from a market perspective. And if there are transactions where banks are probably not that keen, or which are in segments or in sectors which banks have made bad experience, or if it's just a bit more leverage, then there are people who are willing to lend. Yes, in certain cases it's a bit more expensive, but on other hands it's giving a bit more flexibility as well. So I think it just adds to the spectrum of lending.
Yeah, and that's certainly a good thing. Germans have a reputation for being a bit stiff perhaps, and the strong banking environment certainly doesn't help. So this competition and diversity of products coming from alternative investors like direct lending funds certainly helpful for not just for the picture of the German financing market, but also for sponsors, for corporates alike, to have more variety of financing options to choose from.
Absolutely.